Good morning, sports fans from all around the world and globe. From Cape Cod to Cancun, from Vegas to the Vatican, I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Breakfast Bankroll Midday Sports Market Report. Hope everyone is ready for a new week, the last week in July, as Sunday is August 1st, and that means nothing more than football getting a lot closer. But without further ado, our co-host from Tampa, the Palm Tree State himself, Mr. Scott E. Webb. What's up, my brother?
Morning, Jeff. How are you today?
You know, when I go to my dry cleaner and I say extra starch, or we talk about steam, and we were on the show yesterday and we highlighted a few games that once the show ended got some big steam. And in this business, I like to always say to the general public is a lot of times you don't have the opportunity to follow the money, follow the movement on an hour to hour basis. So if you work 9 to 5, you come home, you get settled in, and you go to wherever you go to look at your numbers, and you see all of a sudden these numbers moving and jumping. You're like, shit, I worked. I didn't have to do all this work. Let me follow the money. Let me follow the steam. Well, steam burns sometimes. And let me tell you, if you were a steam follower yesterday, you got burnt.
Yeah, well, I think, you and I are going to probably have a somewhat of difference of opinion sometimes on these things. But for me in baseball, I don't follow the steam as much as I do in football. It's just it's a different sport and a different way that the money comes in, and it means less to me. And I know that it means a way more to you on how all that stuff. That's how you handicap the games. So I mean, I know that a lot of that stuff means a lot more to you than it does to me in baseball. But I will say this: I do like to get in when the money is shorter, and I think we got in the best at the best times yesterday. And as the steam went up, at least if you lost the money, like the way over here, like me. If you lost the money, then the reality is that you didn't have to capitalize, or you weren't paying more. So I was in where I thought I should have been. Shouldn't say should have. These are all bad terms to throw around in gambling. But the Nationals game was an inning too late. In the sixth inning, they were covering. Obviously, we stayed away from them I didn't want to be in their bullpen, and they lost the game outright in the ninth inning. So we didn't fare too well either way if we would have picked that game. But one inning too late, and I would say the Tigers game was not even we were down 4-0 after the first inning, turned that bad boy off. And then Oakland yesterday lost 2. So I don't think I won a game yesterday there, Jeff.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, the numbers were crazy yesterday. Favorites 8 and 7. If you blindly went to the window and bet every over yesterday, said the hell with it, I'm taking the overs. You went 2 and 13. So unders were definitely very profitable yesterday. Some of the big dogs that cashed: the Marlins plus 193, the Cardinals plus 151, the Indians plus 153, the Mariners plus 121, and kind of what we like to say value play. Value is only value if you cash the ticket. You know, you talk about CLV, you talk the EVs, you can talk to your blue in the face. It doesn't matter at the end of the day if you don't cash the ticket. So I'm looking, and we're doing our work here, and it looked obvious that the play was the White Sox. They got it was like a 130 number to plus 120, and then we closed up shop yesterday, you and I, and then there was some steam there, and the White Sox trying to salvage a game. to get out of Milwaukee, 1-2, and they steamed them up to 144. And again, the second inning, they put up a 3 spot. The pitcher there, Lance Lynn, with a 2 out RBI single. And sometimes when it looks too good, it is too good. But here, again, the only way I could have played that game would have been the White Sox. And it's kind of comical that, of course, that one comes in.
Yeah, and Jimenez shows up today for the White Sox, and Lewis Robert is on his rehab. So that's like a trade deadline maneuver for those guys. I mean, those guys getting two all-star caliber players for the price of nothing. It's a watch out for the White Sox. That's all I know.
We had talked to our clients. I think about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, just about that. We thought it was time to jump in on the White Sox. They got a good front three. Their middle and back end's okay. But just the fact that Jimenez was getting ready to go out for rehab, and the Roberts coming back also. So I think they are definitely locked and loaded. Every day I have to throw this out there. I don't know what I'm smiling more, the Yankees or the Red Sox. I mean, listen, we had a game Saturday that we were up 3-0. We're 42-0 going into the 8th inning with a 3-run lead or more, and we get blindsided. Yesterday, all over social media, Yankees, Herman, no-hitting the Red Sox, and the game's over, and click your heels, 8th inning, the Red Sox break up the no-hitter, and then they score 5 and win 5-4. And not that we weren't saying that the Yankees weren't out, but I guess maybe I'll throw it to you this way. They're coming to Tampa. What do you got prepared for them for Tampa?
I don't know. I think that the Yankees are a team that we've talked about it, and for whatever reason, because of the Yankees, people hang on to them, and I don't mean to hang on to them as a fan base. I mean hang on to them as a betting proposition type team. Don't put your money on the Yankees. Just don't do it. They're not the team you need them to be. I mean. They need a center fielder, right? They're going to need a guy to play second base or first base, if whatever you're going to do with LeMahieu. They need a guy to figure out what they're going to do. Maybe they just decide, okay, we're going to get Trevor Story and put him at shortstop and move Torres to second base or something. Maybe they're going to do something like that. But undoubtedly, they need a center fielder. They need a middle infielder. And they probably need 2 more pitchers. And now they got a back end problem. So how many guys can you get at the trade deadline, guys? I mean, this is like developing your whole team all in a week. So please, Yankee people or people that want to bet on the Yankees, stop betting on them for the end of the season stuff. I mean, just stop. We talked about it a long time ago. They're not going to make it. And it doesn't matter what they do. So at this point, I think the reality is that whatever they're doing and whatever they do at the trade deadline will be for 2022, not 2021.
And the latest before we went live today, they're exploring with Minnesota for Max Kepler. So here comes Willie Mays Hayes to the rescue, and I agree. Deadline coming up. We've talked at length here. For us, I think the easy fit would be Rizzo. You would add a Rizzo to Kike, to Xander, to Devers infield with Sale 2 weeks away. They brought Duran up. They brought Houck up. I think they're positioned well. It's a 2-horse race. The tough part, pill to swallow here, Scotty, is unfortunately one of the teams is going to be that wild card. And the fact of the matter is, you're in a 1-game series, and you got, do you push all in? Washington is sellers. They're fielding offers now for Max. Rumor has it he wants an extension, though, added to this trade. I don't know if he's going to get it. We've talked about the Colorado guys, the Marquezes, maybe the John Grays of the world. Uh, um, Gibson at Texas. Now Minnesota, I don't think they'd move Berrios. I think it'd be expensive, but they're out there. Thoughts moving forward? I mean, I know you guys already got Nelson Cruz. Are you planning any other moves to shake up the East?
I think what the Rays have done is I think they feel as though they're going to be competitive with the pitching that they have. Certainly in my mind they need to get a pitcher, but in their mind they get Chris Archer back. Chris Archer is going to be soonly on the mound, and theoretically he has figured out how to pitch again since he's been a Ray. So I don't know if that's all true or not. I know that he was pitching a lot better before he got hurt, and now hasn't pitched for a while. But so they're considering him like a free agent acquisition signee or whatever. So the Rays might theoretically be close to done. I don't know. I haven't heard anything more. Of course, I didn't hear Nelson Cruz before it happened. They didn't call me on the phone, guys. I wish I would have. They would have. Anyway, but I look at these playoffs kind of weird because the Yankees have been a wild card going into the series, into the playoffs, and all you got to do is win the one game, and then you're in the series competing with other teams. So it doesn't matter, but that one game can knock you out. So far, that one game has almost always been against the Oakland A's. Almost always. Last year they won the division, so it wasn't them, but almost always the Oakland A's. And if you think about it, who do the Oakland A's have that are going to throw out there on the mound that is going to scare you to death to say, I need to go out and get I need to go get this ace pitcher to match up? I don't think they have one. So that being said, some of these teams like the Red Sox or the Rays, those two teams who would be facing the Oakland A's in a wild card game, they might actually have the better pitcher going into the game than what the Oakland A's do. And then if you look at the Oakland A's offense and match them up to the Rays, or you match them up to the Red Sox, I don't think that they're there. Now, it doesn't mean that Oakland's not going to be able to win a game because they only got to win one. But if you're going into the playoffs and you start thinking about your roster and your talent level and all this, and what do you have to do to get a certain player like Max, say, for example, you might have to give up the world to get Max when you don't need Max. You need, you could use Max for the next season or whatever, all that stuff. But to make it in and actually be in the series and participate, you don't need Max Scherzer. Some of those teams. So it's just a matter of what do you got and what are you going to do and who do you face? And, I don't think there's such a huge dominant pitching staff in the American League. I think the White Sox are the closest to a starting staff that you would be afraid of anyone. And to be honest, I'm not that satisfied with Houston's starting staff, but this kid Garcia that's pitching today, I don't know where he came from. I mean, I know who he is, and I know all that stuff. But the kid has been pretty strong all season long, and doesn't really have terrible starts. He might have a bad start here and there, but he's got a good strikeout rate. Doesn't walk people that much. It's hard to get on base against him. He's got great swing and miss stuff. So, but then they got Greinke, so they got a veteran guy that's in there, and then they got McCullers. So they got three guys. You got to have three guys, and they got three guys. And Oakland's going to put out there. Well, they're going to put up Bassett and Manaea and Montas. Is that what they're going to do? Okay. I don't think those are the three guys that are going to win him a series. The Yankees with Cole and well, Tyon now is pitching pretty well. But who else they got? I know that Severino's on his way, but he's not going to be there in time. We talked about it yesterday on the show. When it's too late to go get all these players that they need to get, you needed to do that. 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago was your time. That was your window, and you didn't act 2 weeks ago. So if you act now, it's for 2022.
We talked short menu today, but what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to dig in, maybe find a game or two, or at least maybe talk to the public on, what we're seeing, what we're not seeing, and basically, to beware. I like to say it's Monday, it's a new day, it's a new start, it's a new week, where some people wake up after a long weekend and they got their butt handed to them, and it's like a kid in a candy store. Well, I'm going to get my money back that I lost today, and then we're going to win the rest of the week, and then we're going to profit, yada, yada, yada. Short menu. I'm still waiting on the Mets pitcher. Couple numbers that kind of smelt a little to me. We know that the Rockies woes on the road. They're wheeling out Marquez and Shotani. I was a little surprised that the opening number was 151. Thought it might have been a little tad higher. I know the Angels are not they're not going to scare a lot of people, and I do know Shotani is a lightning rod, but it is starting to dip a little. I'm seeing some 145s and some 142s along the strip. You talked about Garcia at Seattle against McConaughey. Opened at 166. We're seeing it up as high as 172, 175 now. Good matchup, Pavetta versus Hatch. Sox opened up at 120. They're getting moved up to 144 at Pinnacle, 139 at Jazz. Along the Vegas Strip, 138 to as high as 145 at the Mirage. This one kind of caught my eye, Scotty. Ross versus Howard, Nats at Phillies. Phillies opened at 114, now getting moved up to 121 at Pinnacle. About 113 to 115 on the Strip, as high as 120 on the Mirage. Any of those games catch your eye, Scott?
Well, I looked at that Washington-Philadelphia game, and that kid, Howard, he's like your Boston Hawk. I mean, he's a highly touted starting pitcher that is supposed to do really big things for the team. And I started looking at him, and I started looking at his numbers, and he hasn't had very good success. And then I started looking at how deep he goes into games. And Jeff, I'm going to be honest with you, the guy acts like an opener. I mean, he throws 3 to 4 innings, and then he's gone. And there were 2 games that kind of stuck out to me in terms of where I perceive there to be some sort of pitching value that's being misled in the market. And that was one of them. Joe Ross, for whatever reason, has gotten out of the right side of the bed for the last, I don't know how many weeks. He is throwing very well. He has changed his whole season around. Over his last 7 starts, he's got a game score of 59. And that's almost like what aces do. But his game score for the season's a 50. So he's an average pitcher overall, but over the last 7 weeks, which is 7 starts, which is, basically a full month. He has been dynamite. His Sierra number is 2.79, his strikeout rate 32.7% in that time frame. There's only one pitcher throwing today that's got a higher strikeout rate than Joe Ross, for God's sakes. So you sit there and you go, well, how is this possible? Well, I mean, maybe that these teams and they give these younger players a little bit of time after being hurt for so long, and they finally click and they finally get it, that they get back to where they thought they would be, and that their stuff is pretty good. So his CSW, which is called strikes plus whiffs is 33.3%, second highest on the board today. So he throws strikes and he gets guys to swing and miss, and he doesn't walk anybody. So I kind of like Washington in that spot. You're not getting much for him, but plus what is it? Plus 105, something like that. The other one that I thought was an interesting scenario today, Jeff, was the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs. I know Hendricks has got 12 wins, but wins don't mean anything because of how they get them and how they're earned and all that stuff. His Sierra number is 5.16. It's the third worst of the day, and he's got 12 wins. And now you're going to tell me that he's going to be that dominant of a pitcher over the Miley, that he needs to be a minus 130 favorite? I don't think so. I like Cincinnati better. I like Miley a little better. Miley's year-to-date game score is a 57. He's pitched pretty well. I like the idea that he's a left-handed starter, and I like the idea that the Cubs are not hitting compared to the Reds, are at least hitting in the top 10 of baseball over the last 7 days, and the Cubs are near the bottom. And the Cubs have all the rumor mills and all the craziness surrounding them around who's leaving and who's staying and who's going. So, the only drawback here is the Cubs are pretty good at home, but if I'm going to play value, I think Miley's a better pitcher than Hendricks, and I think Ross is a better pitcher than Howard.
I agree. I kind of looked at that number, and again, we had Hendricks open at 127 last night, showing about 80% of the tickets moving in on Hendricks. He's kind of one of those, you'll know early which Hendricks you have on the Cubs side. I've seen him blow up like a wood tick, and I've seen him go 9 complete. So someone that's not going to overpower you, but he definitely great command, great control. And Miley has always been our kryptonite. I go way back in the days, and he used to be an auto fade. It seems like he's turned it around. But with that being said, I jump on the Miley train, and he goes 3 in the third and gives up 5. And I go against Miley, and he's still in there in the 7th and 8th inning. So it's kind of comical on that. I think everyone's got a certain amount of pitchers, a certain amount of closers that they detest. It doesn't matter. You're always on the wrong side. Same as hitters. Certain hitters get into certain situations, and it's kind of comical. I'll throw out an obscure name, Colton Wong. If I ever needed him to get on base, you might as well just get up and go to the bathroom, go to the beer line. It ain't happening. But I'm telling you, if I'm going against them and he's up in a key situation, that damn rat is going to get a base hit. He's going to, the Arenados of the world, the Goldschmidts of the world. The list is endless. Everyone's got them. But I looked at Miley today, and the number, almost an enticing price on both sides, Scott. I think it's a fair price for the Cubs with Hendricks at home. But I also think it's a nice little value play. You're catching the Reds, who can put a lot of guys on base. Their problem is getting them to score. They probably got to be in the top 3 LOBs in major leagues this year. They're always getting on base, but they're not scoring. But as we talked about, it's a short menu. It's the first day of the week. I strongly suggest you to tread lightly. Tomorrow we pick up with a deeper slate, some better matchups. With that said, Scotty, closing, any final words of wisdom to the viewers and listeners?
Well, I don't know if they're wisdom words, but they're words. But I would say that just wait till the end of the week, because Friday's the day that's the trade deadline. The Padres and Pirates pulled off a deal yesterday, and you sit there and you look at what the Padres are doing, and it's a good deal for them. I mean, they gave up a lot, so it's a good deal for the Pirates. But I sit there and think to myself, how many damn second basemen do the Padres need? So it's kind of interesting how what general managers look at and what they think about, because they it really does surprise you on where they think their needs are. I mean, I would not have gone second base for a team that's got 2 or 3 second basemen already, and they go and get one from by the Pirates. So now they got a whole team full of second basemen. Okay, so I don't know. So I would have thought something else, and then I read something from a San Diego reporter last night that said they're working on a deal now with the Chicago Cubs to bring Kimbrel back, and then they're working on a deal to get one more starting pitcher. And I'm like, holy crap! So maybe they're stockpiling second basemen to trade somebody to give second basemen away and get a starting pitcher. I don't know. There's all kinds of that stuff that you just don't know about. So I'm real intrigued about this, and I'm working on my football stuff now too. So now it's double duty and never sleep day.
Yeah, we'll be tiptoeing into the NFL, some college previews as well. Before you know it, the Hall of Fame game will be here. Very excited. We have some irons in the fire that we won't divulge right now to the listeners, but we're working on some big things back here. Myself and Scotty and a few others, hoping to really have some fun this fall with the NFL and the college football. So with that said, if you are wagering today, always wager with your head, not your heart. If you have a problem, pick up the phone, reach out to someone. There is help available. From myself, Jeff Dawson, and my co-partner and co-host here, Scott E. Webb, enjoy the day. Have a blessed day. Let's cash some tickets. Let's invest wisely, please. And we'll catch you at the same time tomorrow.